Okay. This is I can't wait for it. And today we're going to be going over, we're just going to recap the week so far, see what we've put out there, see where it's at, whether it's ready to get in, whether it's ready to get out. Just something healthy to do every Wednesday. You should definitely be doing this every Wednesday just to make sure that you're in the right plays and you never want to pull a play out too early. I've got plenty of time on these, so even if they are in the wrong direction, it's not like something that I'm going to freak out about. But it's just good to know, where you're at. And so, without further ado, clear my throat. All right. Um, so we're going to start off with space here at the front. And space is gapped up again today, and I mean not as much as it did the last couple of days. It did take a down day yesterday just to kind of correct itself. Um, but I mean it's already back up to where it was at its high yesterday. We're very close to it. My option call is at least. Um, Counts up again. Took a little bit of a down day yesterday, made it all back this morning. So you know just needed a correction day. And so, anyways, we're looking at space here. Let's see if we can find my ideas. I probably should have these in order. Let's go to my profile. This would probably be the better way to do it. So we're gonna go back. I've got a lot of these right now. I think I've got 70 plus right now. So and just because some of these are older or whatever whatnot, these trend lines go out forever. If you find one that is respecting the trend line, even though it's older, it's still respecting the trend line. It's still good. You can still use it to play off of. That's what's great about the way that this thing's charted. It's you know if it respects it, respects it. It can fall out of it and come back in, all of a sudden start respecting it again. So it's just one of those crazy things that just tends to work for whatever reason. Let's look at how far back was this? This was May 14th. That's not that far. Good God. April 27th. Where are we at now? That's close to about a month ago. All right, so ET and ENBL, they've taken a little bit of a pause in the market. We can take a look at it, see what they're at right now. CWK2, um, they've not really moved since they broke to the new highs. They're kind of like stagnating, like in this area, I think, right here. So this is where we started. So it's just good to see. This will be good to see where it's at now. When you hit the play button, it fast forwards. It shows you all the price action. Look how close it rides this trend line right here. I mean, I'm just a little bit behind in my timeline. By 3 days basically. If it's 3 days forward, this would be matched up perfectly. But either way, no one got really shook from that. Um, Sitting up here, attempting to break this high. So this would be that's the second attempt. So this is the third attempt down right here. If it doesn't break through on this one, expect this to correct itself back down to here, the last point of structure, which is the 958 mark, and then bounce up again. If it already tested this area again, so if this doesn't get it on this dip right here, then it's going to fall. It's going to fall even further, and it's going to restart this whole process over again. It's probably going to go right to where this gap is right here. So about 924 is going to be where your area of retest will be. So let's keep watching that one. I'm still in on ET. It's super cheap to be in on those. ENBL, they're like lottery tickets right now, just because they're kind of going sideways. But when they pop, they're going to pop. CWK, let's go ahead and hit play on that. Now it's still going pretty strong too. It's basically, so I'm about 15 days pushed too far out on this one. So the way that you read these charts is that if it dips down before it gets to this area right here, you're anticipating a dip down right here. But if it does it here, that means that I'm just behind, I'm too far ahead on my prediction. And so you just push this back mentally. So what happens after that? It rides up slowly. Well, what's it doing? It's riding up slowly and it's consolidating as it's doing it. Well, this price tightens right here, so it's obviously consolidating as it's going up as well. So everything is falling perfectly on this right here. You just got to imagine that right there is right here. And then we might have a correction coming down to about the midway point of this right here, this area, which is about 1833. It might even check this low down here at 1773 and then bounce up and go along from there. So that's CWK. Let's keep it moving here. I'm trying not to spend too much time on everything. We got a lot to cover. ENBL. ENBL is the one that's going to have to go up to $16 in order for their stock price to even reflect what they've just been paid for. The merger is going to end in July, so they still got plenty of time to do it. But this one's the one. This one's struggling to get moving. It's waiting. It follows ET. So if ET stops moving, then it kind of stops moving. And if ET only moves up a little bit, ENBL does not move at all. Same thing with this one. The prediction's about 15 days pushed out too far. So this pop up like right here, and it's riding this consolidation going forward. That's this right here, this area. So squeeze this right over here, or just shove this back over there. Fits perfect in there. Now you're going to hit this wall and you're going to start riding it up. And so right here, you should start seeing it run up, and then it's going to break free once it gets past this area, the 894, about the $9 range. And I've been saying it to myself every time I look at this, it's having a hard time getting past $9, but once it does, it's going to just break free and just go. So of course, it's going to take a little bit of consolidation break right here, because look at this run. It's not moved this much in a while. Back here a month ago, it moved up, and then it consolidated. So it's just repeating this move right here. And that's what I like to look for in the market. Is I'm very keen on finding what is being repeated in the market and where it's at. And so right now we're in this area. So you're going to see a little bit of like a reaccumulation right here, and that's perfect for this curve. So I might actually not be too far forward. I might actually be too deep on my prediction. If I push this up to meet this line, meets this area right here, and then comes down like that, this would be the perfect reaccumulation curve right here, and then popping up and then going out like that. So imagine this coming down into this area, probably slightly higher since this is up higher here outside of my box. So right on the top of this is going to use the top of this trend line as the curve. And so your low is probably going to be right around $8. So imagine it curving down and hitting this $8 area like this, doing a bounce, coming back, finding support on top of the $8 area, or maybe like 825, 850, and then launching itself to go long and probably riding the outside of this trend line right here as it goes up, because I might still be pushed a little bit too far forward. So anyways, that's ENBL, still looking strong. I'm not concerned. If you give yourself 30 days on these stocks, ENBL, CWK, ET, they're all going to end up where you expect them to end up. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla is going to be the one that did not go as planned, and it's very volatile. And this is on a 1-day chart, but it drops outside of the thing here. Look at this. Oof. It did try to respect this line for a little bit, but I think with the current news that's going on and everything with it, it needed a price correction even deeper, because it couldn't get. So here's the thing. It's a meme stock, and it's not in a bad way. I mean, I love Tesla. I love Elon Musk, but it's a meme stock, and by meme stock is we've got an influx, a huge influx because of COVID, of new investors coming into the market that have no idea how to trade, and they largely come off of Reddit, and they follow Reddit, and so you got memes being posted in Reddit nonstop about certain stocks, and they become kind of like legendary in the Reddit world. And the Reddit world is ran by a bunch of, it's usually a bunch of younger, it's got some older people in there, but you've got a lot of younger money in there. Even if they're older people, it's still young money. You've got young money in there trying to make money and make the best out of the situation that's going on right now. Crypto's also been very infectious about this, dragging new investors into the market who don't know how to invest. And so they got weak hands. And by weak hands, it's retail has weak hands because institutional buying will drive the price down to a low price to break the stop losses of these of these areas right here, if you see this trend line where it has been broken over months, that's a liquidity area. Well, institutional buying purposely drives it through there after X amount of time to break all those stop losses, to scare everyone who has weak hands out of their shares so they can gobble them up and take control of that float and then run it up to a new high. That's why they can't run it up, is because weak hands are dropping their shares every time this thing goes down. And Tesla goes down, but it goes up huge. But it won't go up huge if we got weak hands controlling the float. And so that's what's going on right now, is that it should have gone up right here, but weak hands got scared. They saw this right here and they thought, oh God, here it goes, it's going down. And then so they dumped all their shares. And because they dumped their shares, the float wasn't in control. It was being gobbled up by new other weak hand retail meme stock traders. And then it comes dropping down. And so then, institution has to dump all their shares. They have to short it some more to bring it even further, to break those stop losses of all those people jumping in, buying these getting all these shares from all the other retails that are scared, getting them and breaking those stop losses. They're thinking is going to go up from here, and so they break those stop losses and get them to drop their shares as well. And then now they take control of all those shares. And now that they have like 99% of the float, you see it starting to move up right here. And another way to look at it is if you drew a trend line going across and connecting all these right here, see this, the price action of these candles right here is breaking that trend line. If I was to draw like an imaginary line across this, I don't think I can chart on here. It will stop right here. And so that's the first sign of the end of a downward spiral. And so they're going to reattempt. This is basically accumulation, which means that they've accumulated at this point, and now they're going to try to run it up. First, what they're going to do is do the final dip in liquidity, which is going to come back down to this gap probably right here, bounce off of that, and then take off and go long and ride for free going up. And so I would expect Tesla to come back down to the 570 mark, maybe even like the half this candle right here in this bottom half of this candle, 580s, 586. At the is your best case scenario, but I really think that's going to fill this gap right here, 570. It's going to come down, hit that area. That's the final dip into liquidity to break those final contracts, to gather up the rest of the float that's still out there in retail hands, and then let retail fight over whatever's left in the float and drive that demand up as it runs the price up. So look for a price action in Tesla about 570. Really, I think it's going to be a really strong move right there. Let's see. Red Rock is still going strong. My God. I love this stock. It's just like Home Depot, but it's a cheaper Home Depot, and by that I mean a divergence play. Whenever you have price action showing down on your price action, but your oscillator is showing up, that's called divergence. And by oscillators, you're just connecting the lows with a line, and if it points in an up direction, then that's divergence compared to if this price action is pointing down. And um, Home Depot, Red Rock, Goldman Sachs, strong, super strong with divergence plays. So look at this play. So divergence, and you're like, that doesn't work. Look at this. You find the right stock, it does work. I mean, that is one massive run up off of divergence. And I got out early. I think I got out right here. No, I think I got out right here in this range. Should have hang in there. I didn't have as many option calls on it as I wanted. If I had bought like maybe 4 of them, I probably still would have 2 running it right now, going up. But I'm just going to wait for it to create new divergence and then jump in again. But really strong play. A little bit too late to jump in now. If you're still in it, great. Just keep holding tight. But that one paid really, really well. I mean, really well. All right. Let's see. Not worried about Seth. Not worried about that. Not worried about that. NIO never really worked out on my timeline. Let's see how it fared. I think it's still outside the timeline. Yeah, it's starting to curve around right now. So this is accumulation building up right here. So it's about to take a run to go up. So if you push this timeline over about 20 days, it'd be probably perfect. So looking for a bounce out from here. I think it's setting up right now. So this buy zone probably would still hold true. Once it gets inside this buy zone, I think it's probably a green light to go ahead and get in on NIO. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Yoami, oh, what What a disappointment this one is. This one, I mean, it comes down if it's just completely outside the box. It's doing nothing that it needs to do, and it's because it has bad management and bad social media and bad website. Um, it's just bad all around. They did just sign a deal with somebody, so that's kind of good. At least they know how to do their job, I guess. Um, but yeah, there's I'm still hopeful on it. I got back in because it's stupid cheap to buy option calls on this right here. I spent $50 to get 10 option calls on this, and if it happens to decide to go up at all from this area, then it's a win. Um, I think it's kind of found its ground, like its bottom right here. It's been stagnating at this area, pulsating above it, trying to go higher. So I don't think you're in danger of it losing any more from there. Let's take a look at Nike. Sorry, my nose gets stopped up every time I stream. I don't know why. Let's see if I can get some light going here. All right, that's better. Nike. Where is my? Oh, I hit play already. So Nike still trying to accumulate to get going here. So I wouldn't say it's off. I think it's just behind this trend line. This needs to be pushed over. Um, I would wait for it to bounce out, go inside and come bounce out before I'd get in. It's just kind of reaccumulating right now, so nothing really big going on with it. Activision crushed this. It crushed this trend line. I don't even know if I have charted any further for it to go. Oh yeah, I gave it plenty of room to go. Now this is on a 15. I usually don't do a 15-minute chart. Maybe I should, a little bit more. But look at this. It gaps up, hits this trend line up here, comes down, hits the bottom trend line, comes back up, hits the top trend line, bounces back in, rides on top of the trend line, comes back in, and is just riding up there. And so realistically, if you move this trend line up, it's hugging. This just needs to go higher up because of this gap. The gap through the trend out of whack. I think it's probably too far back. So move this over here, this pitch down right here. Move this about 20 days forward or 30 days forward, and then shove it up to the bottom of that corner right there. And then that would push this corner into this area right here. And so then you would have it pitch into the top here, again coming back down, and then riding this angle right here over. And so all this would be over. It would kind of be like over here. But either way, it still hit the trend line twice before it went out of whack. Really cool play there. Looks like it's getting ready to go up again. As far as plays getting in now, yeah, I'm not against it. If it keeps going up, I think that this is the end of that trend line right there. So it's going to come back down, retest it on the other side. Once it goes up, it comes back down. I think at that point, it's just going to launch again. So I would look for an entry to get back in at like $9.20 or $92 once it bounces there again, and then that would be a good place to get in. Apple, I don't like Apple because it's just too volatile. Like it's the market makers take advantage of it so hard. It's like very palatable, if you will. See how it hits this bottom trend line that I drew, and it just stays there, doesn't go up. I mean, even like the green is where I'd like for it to go, but it's like and it's not far away from it. I mean, you just move this. Maybe my trend is just 3 days behind. You just push this forward, and it's following that trend line up. I just wish that it would use the top half of this price of this chart versus just hugging the very bottom. But that's how they do it. Is they just manipulate it so hard. Not a big fan of the Apple. Sorry. I do like their phones. Let's see. AMD. Okay, kind of just dipped out. It's on a weak chart too, so this is gonna be a very slow moving chart. Could be behind here on my prediction. Just shove this over here. It's still falling inside here. It's gonna slowly start moving up from here. So definitely definitely missed the